I'm in Wendover Woods in the Chilterns. It may look like an ordinary place to walk, but it isn't.
Somewhere in these woods is a boundary that's older than the villages around it. Maybe even older than England itself.
Today I'm walking Grim's Ditch, a line drawn through this landscape for reasons we still don't fully understand.
The Chilterns are full of places like this. Quiet paths, ordinary woods, nothing to suggest that you've crossed into anywhere important.
Some landscapes are not about where you are, but more about where you shouldn't be.
Long before villages, before maps, before even England itself, this land was divided by lines that weren't meant to be crossed lightly. Not walls, not fences, but boundaries that lived in people's heads. Today I'm walking two places that were never meant to be destinations. They were edges, warnings, and one of them still carries the name of an old god.
It runs in broken sections across the Chiltern Hills, cutting through woods, fields and footpaths, as though it doesn't quite belong here.
No one knows exactly when it was built. Most place it somewhere between the end of Roman Britain and the early Saxon period. A time when order was fragile and communities had to protect themselves. People were nervous, power was unstable, and knowing where land began and ended, and protecting it, was crucial. At first glance, it looks defensive. A bank, a ditch, something meant to stop people. But it doesn't work like a fortification. It doesn't guard towns. It doesn't protect resources. And in places, it simply stops.
But Grim's Ditch wasn't built to keep armies out.
It was built to tell you when you'd crossed a boundary line. The clue is in the name. Grim isn't a person, it's a label, one given to places that people no longer understood. Grim comes from Grimnir, one of the many names of Woden or Odin, a god of boundaries, knowledge and the dead.
When Christianity arrived, the old gods weren't erased, they were just renamed.
Grim became the devil, and places linked to him became the places to avoid.
Ditches and earthworks, old roads and tracks, anything that felt older than memory.
In a world without signposts or fences, boundaries needed to be tangible, real, visible. They had to feel watched.
You didn't need soldiers here, you just needed belief.
One side, us. The other, them. Crossed the wrong line, and you weren't just trespassing, you were breaking the world as it was understood. Woods like this weren't wild places, they were managed, worked and controlled. Trees were coppiced on strict cycles, charcoal was burnt for fuel and metalwork, pigs were driven through to feed on acorns, only at certain times of the year, and only by certain people. Take the wrong turn, hunt the wrong animal, cross the wrong boundary.
And the punishment was serious and brutal.
To medieval people, the forest wasn't just economic, it was psychological. It was where laws were weak, a place of little authority, where things happened that didn't happen in villages. Bandits were rampant, spirits laughed, and old gods still lingered. Well, strangers, how easily we walk past places like this now. The ditch fills with leaves, the bank softens, the path keeps going, but the line is still there. Not on maps, not on signs, but in the landscape itself.
And that's where boundaries like Grim's Ditch mattered. They told you when the rules changed. So Grim's Ditch isn't a ruin, it's a scar.
A reminder that this landscape was once read very differently. Not as scenery, but as instruction. Where to stop, where to turn back, where you no longer belonged. And every time someone walks past it without noticing, it does exactly what it was always meant to do.